Your cat does that for roast beef and ham. Yeah, well, she goes for beef jerky or cheese. She has me trained very well, everyone. Oh, goodness. All right, well, I'm back from break, and I hope you had a good one as well. You got something to eat, something to drink. I do want to thank Trustaflump from D&D Time, a.k.a. Jeremy, for joining us. Ma'am. I don't need to be dusted off. Come on now. Thank you, yes. If you go to dndtime.stream, you can find out more about what their community is doing. Because it's a lot it's a lot of fun. And I would highly suggest going back and watching their VODs and YouTube videos. Thank you. All right, this tail is just going nuts. My goodness. It is a cat butt night tonight. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she needs some good old-fashioned scritches. The kind they don't make no more. Or at least they don't make them like they used to. No siree, Bobcat's tail. No scritches to them variety around these here parts. Well, that can work in a pinch, Hark. All right, so after I was just getting battered by my cat's tail here. By the way, I love that this quivers around. Excellent work here. And also, I love the spooky theme this year. D&D Time / Trustaflump. I like the you. Yeah, it is. This is why I look up to Senpai here. This is why I look up to Senpai. The production value that you all bring to Twitch and on your website it's great. I'm scrubbed here when it comes to that stuff. Anyway, enough of that. It's time to make a story, my friends. As a prompt or as a warm-up to get to know what is this next holiday? What's it about? What's going on? The NPC that was an avatar or some sort of a mascot for the holiday, as we were randomly rolling him up using our technique here, our workshop technique, a male stout halfling barbarian berserker who is an urchin. We rolled that he has unusual skin color, and that was probably because he stole something he ought not have stole, and it left him orange palmed. In other words, he stole a pumpkin from someone that he shouldn't have stolen from. As we were going through and we're saying, all right, so after his traits, after all of this, what kind of an autumnal holiday would he represent? And because he is this barbarian, because we also rolled as his talent, he's an expert dart thrower and rock skipper. An athletic theme and a theme of Thanksgiving fused together, which is why I have tailgating, right? A group of people getting together, enjoying themselves in sports and eating. The Inori Festival in Japan, or just Thanksgiving, as it's celebrated. Actually, for any of you up in Canada land, happy Thanksgiving to you here, as I believe this is your Thanksgiving weekend as of this broadcast. Ours is next month, rather late into it. But still, the concept of Thanksgiving, or Festivus, as I was saying, where we have food, we gather together, we air our complaints, and we have feats of strength. Yeah, Trustaflump, absolutely be proud of that site. Oh, well then, pass along a Thanksgiving to her then. And she works in catering. Oh yeah, make that money. Victor, I'm glad you're still writing. And Victor, just realize that when I'm doing when I'm doing workshop stuff, it's not that I won't read it. I just can't actively attend to that as just input on writing. as it's difficult to compete with going through the content that I'm hoping to present here. I certainly want you to share, and you do have some cool writing. You have a good premise up there. But a lot of this might be better to be accomplished in the RP Mentor channel on our Discord. Like if you're looking for nitpick stuff or some super detail, or you're hung up on something in particular. All right, so we have this. We had a halfling who grew up hungry, starving on the streets, an urchin, scorned by society, and you know what? At some point in time, he said, "Nay, this ceases. I'm going to be a better person." And so he grew stronger. He worked. Like the rats of Nim, he stopped taking from people, and he wanted to make for himself. Stronger and stronger. So while he is a berserker barbarian, which was just so uncanny that we rolled 2 of these, his is more like Popeye strength, where he's strong, but when he eats, I can work, I can do more. I want to share with other people. I want to cook, I want to produce. And I don't want people who have had bad pasts or shameful actions to be forgotten. And so food should be made aplenty. Food should be made aplenty and given to strangers, or you should always set an extra place at your table during this festival. And even bring homemade food into infirmaries or jails or places where people are often forgotten. Old folks' homes, things like that. Because this is a time of remembrance, forgiveness, and to enjoy life with others through food and sports. A spinach pumpkin, yeah, kind of like that. And so this is the derivative, or this is the origin from which we derived our holiday theme then for open arches. So the point of the holiday, sharing one's labors and to help others, especially those in need, synergistic camaraderie. Traditions, sports competitions involving activities, well, like rock skipping, darts, tug of war, pumpkin chucking, followed shortly thereafter by seed spitting, caber toss, arm wrestling, and even a parade. Taboos. If you don't cook enough to share with a guest or neighbor, you always make extra food during this festival time. Something to share, something to bring to a neighbor's house. So maybe when they're having dinner, you swap dishes. So if you have a family of 6, you make a 7th, and you bring the 7th over to your neighbor, and your neighbor might have made 4 for a family of 3. And so you give each other food. Or if not directly with each other, like the block, just everyone like passes to the house on the left or right kind of a thing. Or suddenly magic drafting. On the first night of the festival, you pass to the right. On the second day, you pass to the left, and then you pass to the right again for the third day. Common symbols we developed. Common colors. Orange, brown, and white. Colors of the browns. I live in that area, but it was brought up by another in chat. Decorations, foods, a boar roast, baked apples, spiced eel pie, eel roe and cranberries on cornbread. We came up with some sayings and greetings. Full belly, strong arm, or you'd call people a full belly or a strong arm. An insult would be to tell someone to get forgotten. Because on a day of remembrance, telling someone to get forgotten is pretty brutal. And also health and wealth. You know, kind of as a fun thing to say in passing. Song titles we came up with, along with the inspiration, like when would you sing them, what kind of a song are they. Common clothing, plaid designs, because plaid is sort of a unification. You have the stripes that are woven together, concepts of people working together to be stronger, which is why tug of war would be proficient, because it's a rope. And what is a rope but not weaker threads bound together? And it's also a time to wear kilts for sporting competitions. So this is our prompt, and from here, I want to make an adventure set with this in the background. I also owe some attention to chat here. Phoenix said maybe he stole from a window and she caught him and offered him a bed and a job instead of jail. That could be Phoenix, yeah. So the tale could have been maybe he stole something small. Finally, he was caught. Maybe she made something that looked like a pumpkin and painted it orange, and he stole it so that he could be caught orange-handed from stealing a pumpkin. And then just when he was caught, all the evidence was against him. The person forgave him, gave him a job, and he worked his way up, and he became stronger. And he sought to spread forgiveness and understanding, as well as helping people in need, so that they don't also have to make poor decisions. That's right, seed spitting and pumpkin chucking. Oh, sheeps. Blackwolf says, this sounds like Lithus Blot. I found it while basically doing this. I don't know what that holiday is, Blackwolf, so if you wanted to tell us in chat, that would help out. Especially if we want to create an adventure or something. Making up a one-shot called The Curse of Stash. BBGs are Amos Moses, Gator McCluskey, and Lucius Clay. Amos is based on Troy Hunt from Swamp People. Gator's based on Popcorn Sutton, running a blank on Lucius Clay. Should he be a revenant, a ghost, or something other, or some other undead being? I don't know if I'm getting the references then enough to give you a concise answer, West River Rat. Unfortunately, the characters are lost on me, so to give you a concise recommendation to make a one-shot would be something I can't do at the moment. Oh, gotcha, Black Wolf. All right, well, thank you for sharing. What should my next D&D book be if I'm interested in races, spells, and character building, not adventures? You already have PHB, Xanathar's, and Volo's Guide. Well, spells? I mean, Xanathar's is going to give you a lot of that. Well, if you want more spells and races, Ravnica has them. Just be careful because Ravnica is self-contained, and yes, it is 5th edition content, but Ravnica has a higher base power level than normal D&D. Oh, thank you, Master Mage. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, West, that doesn't help me out there. I'm sorry, but you know what, West River Rat? I don't know if you're on our Discord. There might be others there in our RP network that would understand your references and be able to provide you some recommendations. Woolly Swamp and Okefenokee from Charlie Daniels Band. Yeah, I'd have to listen to him then, I guess. Yeah, Dark Sun is a brutal campaign setting, Victor. So we have this as our premise. It's going very well. In fact, you're coming in just at the ground level of this. In fact, Master Mage, would you please roll a percentile set for me? Exclamation point 1D100. Let's have a framing event to the circumstances. Now, the festival itself is already a framing event, and that is often enough and all you need. You rolled a 41. Ah, there's a full moon. So on this night of open arches, a full moon, which can allow for extra sports into the night. All right, something goes wrong. Now, we've already had 2 dungeon prompts, which is fine. Though, to mix it up some, Black Wolf, will you please roll a D4, exclamation point 1D4. Odds it's a wilderness goal, evens it's another goal. Evens. So we have some other goal in mind against this backdrop of this Thanksgiving and holiday and sporting, like a tailgating season festival. So this is another goal. And Trust a Flump or D&D time, would you roll a D12 in chat, please? Oh, exclamation point 1D12. Stops on a 1. Seize control of a fortified location such as a fortress, town, or ship. Hey, welcome back, Core Mechanical. Alright, just from these 2 prompts alone, we have the backdrop of the sporting festival and the Thanksgiving festival. We're going to combine this with the fact that during this festival is a full moon. And you know, not all adventures, including one-shots, have to be a knockdown, drag-out, kill-em-all fight. And, Justin, this one-shot adventure, I think, is nothing more than a fun game of King of the Hill or some kind of capture the flag in a low-light setting. This alone, these 2 prompts alone are enough to have a fun... Yes, Infernizard, we are. And you could still run initiative in combat. It would just be, you know, non-lethal. Unless someone wants to be murdered. And you know what could happen if you really want to spice it up? Everything starts like a capture the flag or you know, King of the Hill battle. During, you know, everyone has a good meal, you know, eats, and we share stories. And then we split up teams, the defenders and the assaulters. Justin, something happens. Something happens when they're playing capture the flag. And... Justin, will you... Let's see. We have our event-based villain actions. That might be... Oh, you know what? A twist. This is going to be a twist. Justin, will you please type exclamation point 1D10? Let's find out what twist happens when we thought that we were playing a simple one-shot of King of the Hill, when suddenly... Oh, the adventurers have 2 different goals, but they can complete only one. This is some kind of a quandary, then. Baloo's Clues, will you please roll a d20? Exclamation point 1d20. During the game, the party has a moral quandary, which results in them possibly not being able to win or help the team they are on win. Stops on a 9. This is an honor quandary. Honor quandary. A character is forced to choose between victory and a personal oath or code of honor. A paladin who has sworn the oath of virtue might realize that the clearest path to success lies in deceit and subterfuge. A loyal cleric might be tempted to disobey the orders of his or her faith. If you present this quandary, be sure to provide an opportunity for a character to atone for violating his or her oath. The honor of one or more characters is at stake when it comes to seizing the quote-unquote fort at the top of the moonlit hill. There's no big bad evil guy. There's no mob of rampaging gnolls. Well, an oath is still an oath, Master Mage, even if someone has that alignment. An oath still means someone to someone, otherwise they wouldn't have sworn it. And meant it to the effect that they get mechanical benefits from it. Don't forget, it's absolutely fine to have an adventure without a clear villain. Yeah, the big bad evil guy are the character's beliefs. In my campaigns, moral decisions are more onerous and dastardly coming from within the party, the moral decisions of who they are and what they should do, than any villain I could throw at them. And you know what? West River Rat, that might actually have the players split into different teams. Black Wolf, you got it. Yep, Black Wolf, we made 4 of them. It's good stuff. Yeah, Justin, please do. This is an awesome idea that it pits the PCs not even against themselves like an intramural fighting. You challenge who they are and what they believe. And are they willing to undermine? Now, of course, if it's obvious when we're having a Thanksgiving, holiday festival, like, you could always introduce a murder mystery, like, oh, someone died and got set up. Or maybe the team says, hey, we're planning, like, we're, shirts and skins or whatever, blue and red, and you say, now, I have it on good faith that the captain of the other team really, really likes roast boar. And it just so happens that I have a mushroom that, when eaten, induces sleepiness. But not until like an hour afterwards, when he would be at his post to guard the fort from us. No, it's not going to kill him, don't worry. I've done this before. But what I'm thinking is that we could put the mushroom into the food of the captain of the other team so that we'll get an advantage. And so, it's fun, and you're like, well, it's poisoning, it's cheating, things like that could challenge the moral of your party. And you know what? Some of the members of your party might be like, yeah, that's an awesome idea. Hopefully not in a murderous sense. You might have that virtue paladin. You might have a druid say that, nature's not supposed to be used in that fashion. And it's a druidic moral. You could have a thief say, you know what, or a rogue, I've broken into places, I've done this, I draw the line at poisoning people. I don't care if it's harmless, if it's a harmless sleep mushroom. I may be a thief, I'm not a poisoner. And I'm not going to participate in this. If you want my skills, we're going to do this straight up. And suddenly the thief is the hero, right? So, ta-da! Just like that. Just a cup. On Sundays, Trustaflumph is a prodigious and renowned murderer. But yeah, look at this. From a couple random rolls set against a feasting festival. Look at the fun adventure we just made. And you can throw this into the middle of a campaign. It doesn't even have to be a one-shot where everyone makes brand new characters. You just do this on the side because, look, time passes. Festivals happen. People are, the Who's in Whoville are still going to celebrate Christmas, even if, the meteor from the big bad evil guy is going to crash down into the world in 3 more days. Yes, this is in the Dungeon Master's Guide, Master Mage. All right. Now we're going to try another storytelling technique. within the context of the Open Arches Festival. We are going to Tarantino this, okay? We're going to open with the adventure climax, and we're going to then make a story going back from there. Master Mage, would you please roll a D12? Exclamation point 1D12. All right, we're opening up in media res with a 5. The villain and 2 or 3 lieutenants perform separate rites in a large room. The adventurers must disrupt all the rites at the same time. Whoop, I forgot to... Yes, O'Sheeps, you'll get the next roll. That's fine. So we open up our story with the party already in the midst of combat. Don't ask questions. Just keep going. You and you set this as the foundation. You know, they have their characters, they have their spells and everything. And if you want it to reflect something, you roll some dice beforehand and say, all right, all of you are going to be down, you know, whatever you roll. Ooh. Whew, I had my lid on that. Ha ha. Yeah. I would have had a very sad, expensive keyboard. So anyway, you talk to your players, and you have them, you know, they have their character sheets. And what you can do is you say, all right, I'm going to roll some dice, and you roll them, and you say, I want you all to figure out, I want you to whatever's appropriate for the level. I want you to, in some combination, to subtract. Here, we'll roll. Let's say, let's go 2d10, and there's 5 people in the party. So I'm gonna roll 10d10. All right, as a group, I want you to take 49 points of damage, and maybe one of you just wants to eat it all, and that's fine. 49, and there we go. So you have them split out their hit points. Then you say, all right, so we have 3 casters in the party, and I am going to roll 3d4. All right, 3 casters. I want you to deplete 7 spell slots. Not levels worth. I want you to determine amongst you who is spending how many to a total that the 3 of you have spent 7 spell slots. Doesn't matter on what the spell is. But you've spent 7 spell slots, and you all are down 49 hit points in some combination each. And if you really want, you could also do this with hit dice too. And now what you're going to be doing by setting the stage here is this could be a one-shot that is just a big boss fight. And you have already reflected the fact that they have fought and they have advanced and that they have been victorious to this moment where you want to have a cool boss fight that's the one shot itself. And then through the course of the fight, they can learn about the story as they're rolling and fighting. And you can tell a tale that way. And you can have it done by exposition from the villain and the lieutenants. You can have that done by clues in the room. So, for example, if you already know that I don't know, let's say that they move next to an orb that's in the room, and when that character moves next to the orb, it glows blue. Then you say, as you see it glows blue, you remember on your way here, and it turns into a bit of an improv as well. Why does it glow blue? That could be part of the puzzle, or it could just be a fun part of the storytelling. Did the villain impose a memory effect? Now, playing with memories can be dangerous. Make sure, make sure you're responsible about that as a DM. And I'm not just talking from like a consent and storytelling with players. It can make your story convoluted, or it can otherwise make things complicated. I'm not saying don't do it. Memory modification can be a compelling storytelling technique. But this would almost be like Amnesia: Descent into Darkness if you've played that. So here we have just a boss fight. If you say, look, we only have 4 hours to play, and I want to throw a big bad evil guy and 2 lieutenants here, boom. You have your characters. I'm going to let you all decide how you want to be beat up on the way here. And in fact, you can even go back when they're doing this and say, all right, so how did you even get here? Because again, if we're going to Tarantino this, we're going to start at the end and we're going to work our way back. And so, Black Wolf, will you roll a d12? Because as I thrust you into this, and you're like, okay, I got to make these decisions because the boss fight's starting. Sure, guys, I'll take 3 of the 7. Can you 2 split the other 2 up? Rolls a 2. While traveling in the wilderness, the characters notice the entrance to the adventure location. All right. So, we're thrust into battle, we roll initiative, and as you're doing so, you reveal some information about how they got here. And this is all storytelling freebies because they've already paid the price for the confrontation up front in how they lost hit points and how they use spell slots or other consumables on their sheet. Welcome back, Baloos. So in this case with a 2... while traveling in the wilderness, the characters notice the entrance to the adventure location. You were bringing a meat pie to a hermit that lives on the border of the village for open arches. When something odd happened, or when something odd caught your attention in a hillside cave, if that's where you're fighting. Maybe you're not fighting there. Who knows? And then we fight, we go through another round. Inside the cave is where you found Victor, will you please roll a d20? Yeah, Victor, you're making an elaborate timeline, and that's exactly what that type of writing needs to be. You rolled a 14, a mysterious fae. Inside the cave is where you found a bloodied oh shoot, all right, oh sheeps. Well here, oh sheeps, what kind of a fae do they find? Choose a favorite fae of yours. Sprites, pixies, brownies, red caps, elves, gnomes might qualify as well. Centaurs, satyrs. I think blink dogs. Fawn. What are some more fae? Leprechauns. Brownies. I think you can easily reskin myconids as being fae. I think they're technically plants or aberrations, but to reskin them as fae is very easy, Justin. Brownies is your answer. All right. So inside the cave. In fact, this could even be inside the cave where the hermit was supposed to be living. Was found a beaten up brownie instead. It says it lived with the hermit to help him around the cave when we're going to play the pronoun game. We'll play the they game. When they came, ... Rounds of combat! Rounds of combat! Now, we're fighting, we're casting spells, we're trying to maintain our lives. Now it's time to drop the next part of the story. Yeah, dryads, sirens. Thank you. I knew I missed a big one with dryads, and I imagine sirens would count as a fae as well. I don't know if harpies do. Harpies might be monstrous creatures or aberrations. I'd have to double check in the monster manual. The brownie takes you further into the cave. And you find that the old hermit, a retired... this is an adventure ally, Oh Sheeps. I know you chose the Fae. I want you to roll a d12, please. Unicorns are Fae, I believe. Eladrin are at least Fae descended like elves. Roll a 9. A celestial ally. So maybe an ASMR in disguise, or this could be some sort of other creature that it was pretending to be a hermit, so it never directly influenced everyone, especially during this time. So the brownie takes you further into the cave, and you find that the old hermit, actually, are unicorns celestial and not fae? They are. Oh, Sheeps, do you want this to be a unicorn rescue? Alright, the brownie takes you further into the cave when you find that the old hermit, or if you want to say old crone or whatever, actually, a celestial unicorn has been taken captive by the villain and his/her lieutenants for an evil act. Probably to, I don't know, like cut its horn off or to sacrifice it or something along those lines. Unicorns go through a lot of knackering in fantasy. The dice rolls show up in normal chat, but they don't show up above here. This is when they find out that Infernizard, will you please type exclamation point 1d10? Lands on a 7. The adventurers have 2 different goals, but they can complete only one. This is when they find out that the brownie needs a goal apart from the unicorn. Oh, that's right. Hags are fae. No, you're fine, Daly. Don't worry about it. Hags are absolutely fae. In fact, this could even be, that might end up being the villain. It could be a coven of hags looking to sacrifice a unicorn. So this is when they find out that the brownie needs a goal apart from the unicorn. So now in the fight, they realize, wait, we didn't start the fight with the brownie. And that's when you can drop the bomb of, yes, you abandon the brownie, or the brownie fled, or otherwise you had to let the brownie down in order to, it said it needs something, but then you heard the unicorn, braying further into the hillside. Well, I'm glad we're having good references then. Abandoning the brownie. The party made its way through trapped hallways. Again, we took off hit points and spell slots for a reason. As Fae are tricky. And some defenses remained. Until finally, they reached the chamber just when the harvesting ritual was about to begin. Now, if you wanted something more specific than just say, I'm harvesting unicorn parts, if you want to go and have a quick little villain workshop, then we would actually go to creating non-player characters. Actually, we'd go a little bit above this first. Or is a little bit below. I think it's a little bit below. It was 74? Ah, yes. What is the so now what is the adventure villain? In particular, Hark, would you please give me a D20 roll? Stops on a 3. A fiend bet on corruption or destruction. So it seems like maybe they wanted to make the unicorn into a nightmare by corrupting it. Harvesting the ritual is about to begin. They burst into the ritual room where a fiend was about to corrupt the unicorn by... And now we're going to jump to page 94. Baloo's Clues, will you please roll a D8? Lands on a 3. By using magic. And Daly, will you please roll a D6? Exclamation point 1D6 for me, please. Stops on a 5. Contact a lost deity or power. By channeling its magic, as that was the magic prompt, through the beast to contact... All right, Victor. Thanks for sharing your writing, and have a great Sunday. By channeling its magic through the beast to contact... This is a lost deity or power. Is this sort of like a great old one? Are we talking like Tharizdun? Are we talking maybe an ousted god? Like if you go by Forgotten Realms, Asmodeus ended up ousting who was the lead devil before Asmodeus did a big power play? Was it Mephistopheles? But you can have some sort of like great old one or something, a really big, bad, nefarious thing, and they're using the unicorn's horn as an antenna to reach this distant, this lost, dead, or missing deity. It could be Tiamat. Tiamat, I think last people knew Tiamat was retired on Avernus. I think she's living in kind of a demi plane on Avernus. She has her own kind of level-ish area, and she just lives in the nine hells with, devils around her. She's her own god, but she gets along well enough with the devils that, she doesn't mess with them, they don't mess with her. And you know what? Hey, this area is filled with dragons. So you know what? To be thematic, dragons and Dragonborn. So yeah, we'll say by channeling its magic through the beast to contact Tiamat. Or Takesis, if you prefer. And if you want further methods, they're right here on 95. Yeah, so she's like Shredder and Krang. They're in the Technodrome, and they're trapped in Dimension X with a bunch of lava around the base or whatever. And now that you know how you got here, we're already in the middle of combat, and they've had to expend resources while also discovering the story going on around them. And then at the end, reward, the story ends. The brownie could be involved in some way. Do you want to have another twist? Do you want to have another story twist that that leads into another adventure? Like just when you put down... just when you put down the fiends that were getting ready to sacrifice the unicorn says, "Wait, you didn't talk to that trickster brownie, did you?" Yeah, we said that it helped you. You're the hermit in the cave. I was, but that brownie wasn't helping me. That brownie was stalking me because, in fact, that brownie. And then we go on a side quest. Or we have another twist. The brownie is a mimic. West River Rat, would you roll a... Would you roll a... Do I want a D10? Roll a D8, West River Rat, please. Exclamation point 1D8. Lands on a 1. Find a specific item rumored to be in the area. That brownie was always after my... whatever this person would hold sacred. And now that the unicorn was indisposed by fiends, the trickster brownie went to go get the magic staff or the, the whatever. The endless salt lick or sugar cube. That's right, the brownie is me, Dio. The brownie was always after his Lucky Charms. And then you can end there at the one shot, or you can lead into further adventure. After rescuing the quote-unquote hermit, it's discovered that the brownie... Because remember, the brownie wanted them to, hey, come along with me. We got to go here and get this really important thing. And then it takes off, right? But the brownie's like, haha, no one's going to watch me. After rescuing the hermit, it's discovered that the brownie was using the circumstance in order to obtain a MacGuffin. Endless peanut butter cups? Ooh, that's dangerous. Arguably more dangerous than a jug of infinite liquor. I'd get tired of liquor after a point, especially if it's the same kind. His moonshine recipe? You gotta get some sleep. I was wondering if you... I don't. Infernizard, this is the last broadcast of this week. I do not broadcast Sunday nor Monday nights. When we come back on Tuesday, we'll roleplay, so you can see that I practice what I preach. I roleplay with community members, and then Wednesday through Saturday is more workshopping. And so there we go, everyone. You know, in this time of feasting and celebration, we have the antithesis. We have people acting selfishly, people who are trying to corrupt. And you can even explore the theme of, would the villains, especially during this time, be forgivable, as forgiveness is a tenet of the holiday? That's fine, Blue. And perhaps if your players were paying attention to the backdrop, maybe you would give them bonuses as the dungeon master if they were acting merciful, or maybe if they actually managed to hold on to the pie or whatever through the combat, and such that they still delivered the pie to the hermit. Maybe they get a fun little bonus or a recognition. Baloo with an S. Balus. Balus Kalus. They should probably be more... Hey, in D&D time, Trust a Flump, have you guys ever run... A nacho pie would be fun. Have you ever run a one-shot on Friday where it was kind of an escort mission where, they had to... It would be like, make sure the pie doesn't get destroyed, and they have to go through kind of a gauntlet of social encounters or enemies or a boss fight or something. And if the pie or the egg or whatever survives, then that was the completion of the adventure. Whether they fight or talk people down or something. Oh, you have done an escort mission like that before. The closest I can come up with is when my bunny folk paladin was traumatized by running an American Gladiator style adventure that ended up in the rest of the party just murdering the other gladiators that were just trying to stop them. I've run one where the adventure was helping an old lady cross the street. It went poorly. Well, it actually went rather well for you. Why, was the old lady actually like a Barlgura or something? And all right, now.